It's a cold and miserable day on the 24th of August 2021, and I think I'll do a painting. It's 11 a.m. I normally use the Zorn palette, but I'm not that enthralled with the black. So instead of using black, yellow, ochre, brilliant red and titanium white from the Montmartre selection, I'm going to replace the black with magenta and cobalt blue. So hopefully that combination of colours is going to allow me to make the sort of black that I want to use in my painting. So what I'm going to be painting is this girl over here. Now my printer, one of the cartridges is on the way out because it's kind of blurred this section of the image. But actually I quite like that. It gives a feeling of mist, or it makes it feel like an old master. So I might actually utilize that feeling in the painting. She has a kind of an old Victorian look about her, I think, except for those lips, which are very modern. And let's give it a go. So it's 11 a.m. No black. Let's see what happens. There's my palette laid out. The magenta and the cobalt blue at the bottom there. And I think I might just mix a bit of cobalt blue and magenta to see if I can make a black. And yeah, it's kind of a black. Let me just add some yellow ochre. Right, that is like a light black, which is probably all I'm going to need in this painting. I really want to avoid using a solid black. So let's run with that and see what happens. Okay, well I'm going to try and handhold this phone for this video because, well, having the phone stuck on a rigid stand is quite restrictive. But obviously you get a nice steady view. But let's see how this goes. So you can see on this board I've previously used it for some other demo in a workshop. I think I'll just put a bit of a margin. I roughly know how big a margin I should have, so that this space here is A2 size. So I think that's the kind of space. So this space should be more or less double the width of the A4. As you can see, in the last 15 minutes I've kind of roughed out what I think it looks like. That sort of area over there, it looks a little bit long in mine. So I might bring that in. She's got a very short chin. She's got big luscious lips. The gap between the bottom of her nose and the top of her lip looks to be the same size, or just only slightly shorter than a chin, but she's got a very small chin. That obviously impacts on where her jawline comes. Getting back to my painting over here, I think possibly I'm making these lips slightly too big. So what I'm doing at this stage is just roughly putting in where I think all the features are going to be, and it's all subject to change. Now this black that I've made myself, it's pretty blue. So we'll see how that goes. See if I can make it darker for those areas that need to be darker. So I'll just work on this for a few more minutes. So we're, sort of 15-20 minutes into the progress. Let's do a bit more work. So it's now 11:20, and I've done a bit more work. I'm just standing back to see how it's looking. That forehead looks large, but she does have a large forehead. This is probably bulging a bit much. The eyes are about in the right position. The general shape, this shape here, does it look like this shape here? So I'm looking at the big shapes, and I think that's fairly accurate at this stage. Now I'm using a really cheap brush from the local hardware store from Bunnings. Costs a couple of dollars. Bristol brush. That's all you need at this stage. I advocate not spending a fortune on things like brushes, because you wear them out pretty quickly. So I'll work a little bit more. Now I always advocate to cover the board with paint ASAP, because you can only start doing stuff, all the good stuff, once you've actually got some paint to be working with. So I'm going to be just laying down paint all over this board now over the next 10 minutes or so. Okay, let's see how it goes. It's now 11:30, so I've been working for half an hour, and I've virtually covered the entire board in paint. I've been using this 1-inch brush from the local hardware store, and I'm just roughly putting in all the kind of colours I need. That black substitute may be problematic, but we'll see. So now I'm going to do a little bit more refining, which is basically what my technique is all about. You start with the large shapes. So I've now done all the large shapes. There's this large shape down here of the hair, and I've got this large shape down here of the hair, this large shape which is the face there. So all the large details are in. So now I need to refine, if necessary, move lines about, but it's largely there, and I think all the features are more or less in the right places. The shape of the forehead and the size of the forehead, the shape of the forehead and the size of the forehead. So I'm looking at all these various shapes and comparing these shapes with the source image. This cheek is much smaller than you can see over here. Over here, maybe I need to make that smaller and slightly increase the size there. So I'm looking backwards and forwards and going to do some refining. Okay, it's 11:45 now, so that's another 15 minutes of work I've done there. I'm really not happy with my black. That combination of paints is not giving me a very good black. If I make it bluer, I'm getting a darker colour, so I'll have to make it bluer. So I'm making some progress. It's not looking great, but then at this stage it never does. So this is just a progress update. I'm not happy down here. I need to make that jawline smaller, which I will do. And so far so good. So that's 15 minutes worth of work. It's 12:10, so I've been working for another 25 minutes. I really don't like how this is progressing. I'm really feeling the need for an intense black, because I'm just not getting the depth that I want, and it's proving very distracting trying to get these shapes right. But I'll carry on and see if I can improve things. There's lots of things wrong at the moment, but let me just keep on refining it and we'll see how we get. So that's been an hour and 10 minutes so far. Well, this is after about 2.5 hours. I stopped in the middle for a break and had a few beers with my brother, as you do. So now I'll look at it, find out what's wrong with it. This was all freehand drawn, so I suspect I've made the nose a trifle long. But provided it's in the range of normality, I'm not too fussed about that. This is really, as I said, an experiment in not using black. And I'm not sure I can do away with black totally, but I might do it, use it less. So I'll look at this tomorrow.